let's, and then what this would look like, so we want to click OK. Do the two icons to the right. It says simulate. We have that toolpath there. I don't know what this is. This is something new. I'm going to just click OK. If you're not sure about windows that pop open, just typically selecting a default will get you through it. Where'd it go? Simulate.
I think there's a simulator options, so it's showing stock setup and stuff.
But it's supposed to give us some what happened? I got this. Oh, my apologies. One icon to the right of backplot. We don't want simulate, we want verify. My apologies, I was directing you the wrong part. Click on verify and wait for it. Maximize it. Zoom, tilt, make it look so you can watch it. And now, two things before you get started. Down here in the bottom left is precision. I like to turn that up so you get the best accurate visual representation possible. And enjoy it a little bit. Slow it down so you can watch it happen. Sometimes in programs that are very large and detailed, it won't go fast enough to make it, you'll go bonkers watching it. I'm going to click on play. And it's going to go around, back and forth, over the top of the part. Now we're not seeing any color change on the top of the part because we're cutting at 0 on the top of our stock is 0. If I come back, just for illustration purposes, I'll show you, I can go to parameters, cut parameters, and in stock to leave, if I say -10, I'm going to take 10 off the top of the part, 10,000. Okay, regenerate, verify, play. Alright. You get this set up properly and you have a rapid into the part somewhere, you'll see a giant red splash right in the missing stock area. Well, that's one of the things guys will look for is if this takes a long time to go back, to go through it because there's a ton of operations and it's very complex, it might take 5 minutes to verify. But they'll start it and they'll go take a break and they'll come back and then they'll look at it real close. And I'm looking for big gouges in the part and a big red spot where the blood's from. If that makes sense. Okay? Okay. Now what very important thing did we not do at all today that I talked about last week?
Save.
Yeah. So let's go in there and
save often, save frequently.
Yeah, like Ray said, you've got it down. Here we go, file. Maybe save as. Do a little browsing, figure out where it's going to go this time. And I'm going to put mine on the desktop. Or I put yours on the
Yeah, I
flash
put it on the
drive.
desktop last week. You didn't save it.
Yeah, so the general classroom computers will wipe the temporary memory every night, I think it is, to clean it up. So when you come in the next day, it won't be there.
So when you save it to your USB, when you open your USB, do you have to open up Mastercam as well?
Good question. Technically, no. Technically, you could double click on your file from the USB card and it will automatically know to open up Mastercam to access it.
Oh, okay.
I've seen it bogged down though. So I would recommend opening Mastercam, and then coming up here to File, Open, and then go find your file.
Okay.
That I think will be a little bit more productive.
Yes.
I've seen it bog the computer down when it's trying to initiate from the flash drive, if that makes sense. Okay. Essentially at this point for, come in during the week. Come in more than just once a week, please.
No.
And then we're going to use this wireframe that we created to drive the tools. And because we've made an accurate representation of our part with the wireframe, when we can click right on these entities to define top of stock, depth of cut, depth of hole. We can use our hard work and our labor. We can harvest some fruits from it. We can use that to aid us when we create the toolpath, as opposed to, you could go through and just type in the numbers. We could draw this all flat pattern with nothing else, and then we just have to type in the numbers. That's I guess an acceptable process if you're looking at just trying to get it done. So, like Jose mentioned, what happens if we chain the bottom of the square instead of the top of the square? We can control in parameters, linking parameters. This window right here is very, very good. This is a very powerful window where we can control depth of cut, top of stock, feed planes and stuff. If we have a lot of material to remove, we might want to activate our depth of cut. In which case, old school cutting methods would be how much of a depth of cut are we going to make per our half-inch end mill. Anybody remember? What's our kind of rule of thumb? How much depth of cut? What's the relationship of depth of cut to diameter of tool?
30%.
30%. Yeah. So that's old school methodology. It's always a good place to start if you have no other ideas. 30% of the diameter is your depth of cut, 150 thousandths. Okay. So
30% of 50 is
0.5.
0.5 is what?
1.15. I think. Now you got me wondering. Did I do my math right? I think it's 150. I gotta make it look. Okay, so let me look. If you're just facing off and you're not taking much off the top, you can accelerate your feeds and speeds because you're going to have hardly any material coming off. So, depending on what results you get to achieve the finishes you're looking for, you could crank it up and just get through it real quick. And that's where, I'm going to show you one more thing real quick. Tools, right here at tools, we talked about the feeds and speeds. We might want to get serious with it. 60 inches a minute, just flying through it. But let's be cautious about approaching the part. We want to approach the part in a cautious manner. Now this is a job shop mindset where you're not running a whole bunch of them. Now if we're running lights out, we're going to squeeze every little blood drop out of that turnip or whatever it was. Yeah, we can. Once it's proven out, we're going to pull out all the stops and just crank it up until something breaks and dial it back a little bit and hope for the best, right? Production. Job shop, we're going to approach things a little bit more cautiously, and that's where down here, this is your plunge rate, this is your Z, this is your tool approaching the landing strip, if you will. A good default for what we do around here in the shop is 10. 10 is going to be not too fast. It's going to be slow enough that you can control it. But if you're feeding at 60, the game's going to be over when you look away to see where you're going, and things happen quick. Okay, so it's kind of the methodology. You approach your part.
How fast can it go?
Approach your part. How fast?
Yeah.
Up to the machine's limitations. One of the machines I ran had 1,200 inches of feed at 25,000 RPMs.
That is so fast.
Yeah, it was a hand-me-down from the dental lab. It literally was like a little dental tool inside of a tool holder. Now, mind you, that was its capabilities. Did we ever run it full out like that? The application kind
You
of
couldn't even
dictates.
see that. It's crazy. That's like.
Well, the service tech actually told me that the guys back at the shop, at the factory where they make them, oftentimes hurt themselves because the tool is spinning. And it's so quiet that they don't notice it's spinning, and they might reach over and touch something, and then it bites them. Yeah, so,
Yeah, I definitely won't reach and touch any tool.
yeah. Make sure the buses come to a complete stop before you get up, please.
That's crazy.
All right,
Alright. Is that it for today?
that's it for today.